It's been quite a week out there in the media landscape. We've got updates on Tucker Carlson. We've got Magic the Gathering hiring a paramilitary force to take down a gamer's card collection. We've got Ron DeSantis being a weirdo around the world while also getting sued by Disney in the one place he should be focusing on. There's a Hard R Christopher Robin series coming out, and just so much more, including whatever the hell this is.
Should I do it? I'm gonna do it.
He's back.
He's back, baby. But let's start out with some updates on that whole Tucker Carlson situation. It's now been a few days since Fox News unceremoniously fired its primetime talking head, and we do have a few more things that have come to light regarding why he may have been pushed out. But the results are in, folks. That time slot has already started losing ground to its competitors. The Tucker Carlson Tonight time slot on Fox has dominated the ratings for quite some time. And as of this week, it has fallen behind even MSNBC in the ratings.
Who's on at that hour? Maddow?
No, it's Chris, All In with Chris Hayes.
Oh, he's all right, actually.
Yeah, but it's
out of all of them, Chris Hayes is okay.
Sure. It's just crazy that the ratings shifted so quick and so dramatically.
But like, are these people that they're like, oh, well, Tucker's not on, I guess I'll just switch over to my second favorite channel, MSNBC. Like, what?
No, I
don't think that's what's happening here.
I think really they're probably just turning it off entirely or going over to Newsmax or something.
Right.
So yeah, there's really no better time than now to snap your parents and grandparents out of their hypnosis. Just, I don't know, take them out for a walk or something. Maybe ask them to go fishing.
The old people love fishing.
They do.
Or bingo.
Yeah, you could do bingo.
Zumba.
Pickleball.
Yeah, pickleball.
Take them out, get them active, get those hips moving before you have to replace them.
Get those joints moving. Come on, and take them to dinner at 4 p.m. Come on. There's all sorts of things.
Take them down to the claim jumper for dinner.
That's right.
Yeah.
One thing is for sure, though, you have precious little time to wake your doddering boomer parents from the trance, because Tucker himself has already uploaded a response to his firing and has started gathering emails and phone numbers so that he can barge right back into people's lives in what you would assume to be a much more extreme style of show. Although Bill O'Reilly did the same thing, and he is basically a non-entity outside of his core dead-enders.
Yeah.
He has a paywalled podcast, and I can't imagine the viewership is anywhere even approaching what he was at the top of his game, but he's making money off people who are willing to pay $20 a month.
That's the thing. It is almost certainly going to be a smaller audience, but will he take things to a level that we haven't seen before? Although from the reporting and behind the scenes sources, one of the reasons that he was pushed out was he kind of just did whatever the fuck he wanted at Fox, which ran afoul of executives.
A real interesting thing to come out of this and the Dominion lawsuit is the knowledge that Rupert Murdoch is fucking terrified of getting COVID and actually very pro-vaccine, but you know, for business purposes, he has to.
Well, he's fucking ancient, obviously.
His business has to take an anti-authoritarian, anti-vaccine stance, but he was always like, hey, so maybe chill out a little bit.
Me and all my friends are dying.
I am 150 years old, and the vaccine is actually very important to my survival.
He keeps young women around to suck the life force out of them until he's all done, and then he, gets rid of them.
But regardless of where Tucker ends up, it will be much harder for the core of his audience to find him, because they can barely figure out how to operate a Roku or reset the Wi-Fi.
True.
You know, how do I download PDF?
Yeah.
They will have to rely on us to do it for them. And I can't think of a better time for you to accidentally subscribe the elders in your life to our channel instead.
Yeah, it would be a fun prank.
While you're in the middle of slyly programming their TV to just not display Fox News at all, using the parental controls feature that they will never find.
Parental controls has a brand new meaning.
Yeah.
You're literally controlling your parents and what they see.
Yeah, while you're in the midst of that, in the dark of night, go ahead and log into their YouTube account and
watch a bunch of our videos so it happens naturally.
Get the algorithm going.
Yeah.
Anyways, we have no idea where Tucker's going to end up or if he's just going to go completely independent. That does seem like the most likely move. Punished Tucker Carlson.
All of the bluebies on Twitter, they all seem to think that he's going Twitter exclusive because he uploaded that one clip to Twitter and it did really well. So they're like, he's making a statement that Elon is brilliant because he knew that this was going to happen and Tucker was going to bring his entire show just to Twitter.
That room he filmed that weird little video in, that was his set from his house. I assume Fox is going to be banging at the door to pack that up at some point.
Maybe.
But yeah, we don't know a lot of things. We do, however, have more info and plenty of rampant speculation about the reasons behind his abrupt firing from Fox News. Although, as I said previously, I mean, maybe it was just the sum of all of these. It was death by 1,000 cuts, but it still just doesn't quite compute for me. I feel like there's still something missing that we haven't heard about. But yeah, he had pissed a lot of people off and lost a lot of people a lot of money. So
people were a lot more upset with him behind the scenes than was previously thought, because up until last week, everyone's like, well, he is kind of untouchable.
Yeah, he's the golden boy.
He dominates that time slot, and he gets the most amount of eyeballs on him than anyone in cable news. So it's like, yeah, maybe there was something huge, but it does kind of seem like it's the culmination of a bunch of different things. Now, one of the theories that we floated earlier this week was that the Dominion trial was going to expose something far worse than was already made public. And what was made public at that point was all pretty damning stuff, at least for someone who works for Fox News. Basically calling all your coworkers morons, mocking guests, calling Trump's representatives deranged, and claiming that he also hated Donald Trump himself, calling some of Donald Trump's actions disgusting, and at one point referring to him as a demonic force. But apparently it was worse than any of that, and if Fox News hadn't settled with Dominion for over $700 million, we all could have found out a whole lot more, and Tucker would have had to testify, which makes the reasoning behind Fox's last-minute settlement way more clear. Makes a little bit more sense. Some things are coming to light, though, after the fact, like how Tucker apparently referred to, we're well past the 30-second mark. Tucker apparently referred to a female Fox executive as a cunt.
And not in the Australian way.
Yeah, in the American way, where it actually hurts.
Yeah.
And was also apparently pretty stoked that people were going to hear that he had said such a thing. Because they were like, don't worry, we're going to get that stricken from the record. And he's like, what? Why? Everyone should know that. Here's the Wall Street Journal with more.
Several weeks ago, as Fox News lawyers prepared for a courtroom showdown with Dominion voting systems, they presented Tucker Carlson with what they thought was good news. They had persuaded the court to redact from a legal filing the time he called a senior Fox News executive the C word, according to people familiar with the matter. Mr. Carlson, Fox News' most watched primetime host, wasn't impressed. He told his colleagues that he wanted the world to know what he had said about the executive in a private message, the people said. On Monday, Mr. Carlson's famously combative stance towards members of Fox News management and other colleagues caught up with him. The private messages in which Mr. Carlson showed disregard for management and colleagues were a major factor in that decision, according to other people familiar with the matter. Although many portions of the Dominion court documents are redacted, there is concern among Fox Corp executives that if the redacted material were to become public, it would lead to further embarrassment for the network and parent company.
And their reporting goes on to say that even the people at Fox News had started to become nervous at how extreme his show became. Their article uses terms like thinly veiled racism, but I mean, anyone who's seen clips of him touting great replacement theory, white nationalism, or any of his other various segments attacking minorities are aware that thinly veiled is putting it quite nicely.
No, anything that isn't just straight up saying the N-word and burning a cross while wearing a white hood, that's racism. Anything else, it's like, up for interpretation. Who knows?
Yeah. So this is all without even mentioning the other marginalized groups that he's repeatedly attacked. But here's how they put it in their reporting. On air, Mr. Carlson had turned up the volume on commentary that had expanded beyond a conservative viewpoint on politics into more of an attack on marginalized groups. His show, more than those of his primetime colleagues Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham, frequently landed the network in hot water, particularly with advertisers. Mr. Carlson sometimes trafficked in what critics, including some higher-ups within Fox, felt was thinly veiled racism on his show, such as when he recently suggested a Tennessee lawmaker got into a good college only because of his skin color, some of the people said.
Seems pretty blatant, but also seems like the kind of thing they'd all be cool with. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, seems, I don't know.
They do mention in that article that he did have advertisers, obviously, but a majority of the, what they call blue chip advertisers had pulled off of his show in recent years and moved to, things like, The Five or Fox and Friends and stuff like that. So they had shifted all of their advertising dollars around, and he was kind of just getting the ads that are, invest in gold, silver, and Mike Lindell's pillows.
It was a couple months ago, and someone I think at probably Media Matters, whose job is to like hate watch Fox News, they posted on Twitter. They're like, so this entire hour of Tucker, there's only been like 5 ads, all for the same weird, food buckets company or something like that. He just has no fucking advertisers.
When you add that into the equation, that yes, while he was pulling in a massive amount of views, he wasn't making the company money the same way that he had before with less views, but less insane content. So he was really appealing to a base, and there's other articles that go into the fact that Fox was providing him with minute by minute ratings, so he could literally see what words he was using and where the spikes would come in and all this kind of stuff and what topics were really getting people to tune in. So he was leaning into that really hard despite what was happening behind the scenes.
Told me not to, but I did anyway.
Misbehaving, running around the house with a pickle in my mouth.
He was doing a lot more than that.
Yes, he was.
So Carlson's actions behind the scenes were allegedly so bad that according to Rolling Stone, the company had files, complaints, and conversations with him that could be made public in the event that Tucker Carlson ran afoul of the company or attempted to retaliate against them. They kept a fucking blackmail folder on this guy.
Yes, they did.
From their reporting at Rolling Stone, Fox News executives have in their possession a dossier of alleged dirt on Tucker Carlson should he attack the network in the wake of his departure. 8 sources at and close to the network tell Rolling Stone.
Everybody wants to talk right now.
When Fox announced Carlson's departure on Monday, the network presented the separation as amicable. But according to one former on-air Fox personality, the anchor and some of the channel's top executives are parting ways on the worst and messiest possible terms. If Carlson attempts to torch the network, he's leaving. Fox is prepared, the sources say.
It continues, adding that 8 people familiar with the situation tell Rolling Stone that Fox News and its communications department, long led by the notoriously aggressive Irina Briganti, had assembled damaging information about Carlson. One source with knowledge calls it an Oppo file. 2 sources add that Fox is prepared to disclose some of its contents if execs suspect that Carlson is coming after the network. The file includes internal complaints regarding workplace conduct, disparaging comments about management and colleagues, and allegations that the now former primetime host created a toxic work environment, 3 of the sources say. Over the years, Briganti and Fox PR's tactics have been turned against its own most prominent talent. Those methods for keeping personnel in line are an open secret among current and former Fox News staff. 4 former Fox News personalities confirmed Briganti likes to keep dirt files on Fox News talent, including one on Carlson. An ex-Fox News anchor laments, Irina tries to keep a file on everybody. Any talent like Tucker would have a lot of things, other people complaining. They encourage it and then just keep it on file. It's just a classic dirty trick. Briganti keeps files on everybody to screw with them, a departed Fox News host adds. It's classic Fox.
Heartwarming. The worst people you know are all fighting.
Including old anchors. And then, look, this is what's crazy too, is who was probably doing great advertising wise and was the one person who was somewhat level-headed there was Shepard Smith. And remember when Shepard and Tucker got into an actual fight on air? They were bickering back and forth between their 2 shows, and that led to Shepard Smith quitting Fox, retiring early, and going to CNBC.
Yeah.
And then
he was one of the last ones. Him and Chris Wallace.
And then
were
Chris
the
Wallace
only
left
sane
too.
People at this network.
Chris Wallace left too. So Tucker drove out 2 long-standing anchors who were probably doing quite well as far as advertising went.
Yeah.
So look, all that adds up.
So yeah, first of all, the fact that Fox's executives and you would assume their HR department decided not to act on anything in that big old blackmail file, all the complaints and whatnot against Carlson, didn't act on it and decided to instead just gather it all up to use against him sometime in the future. That's kind of insane.
Yeah.
Seems to confirm what many say about how networks operate behind the scenes, especially Fox News.
Yeah.
It also adds more fuel to the fire that we spoke about earlier in the week. The lawsuits filed by former Tucker Carlson Tonight and Maria Bartiromo staffer Abby Grossberg, who claimed that Tucker and his producers were openly sexist, misogynistic, and in some cases, racist off-air. Not surprising considering what he says on the air, but there seems to be a clear pattern here.
Did you see the Newsmax clip where he was talking, basically what we just said, but in a conservative way? He was just like, Well, she's saying that Tucker says all this stuff behind the scenes, but he's saying it on there. What are they, maybe he is just who he is, and we should be proud of that.
Wait, he was the same off air as he was on air. In other words, he was genuine. It wasn't an act. And in the minds of some, that's out of bounds.
These people live in a very interesting reality.
Yeah.
But yeah, for her part, Grossberg has done interviews since Tucker's firing and has reiterated her claims, confirming to various outlets that she has around 90 audio tapes and that those tapes have now been handed over to law enforcement.
Yeah.
Insinuating crimes?
No, this is related to Smartmatic and Dominion because these tapes have more info on them that wasn't revealed because of the settlement.
So, okay, yeah, the scope of those tapes, they go far beyond the abuse from Tucker and reportedly include conversations between Trump representatives and other Fox hosts where they admit that they had no evidence regarding the stolen election narrative. Oh, big surprise. Mm-hmm. Apparently, there are also some damning texts immediately following the 2020 election as well. Quote, at one point, Grossberg said she received a text message from her boss that she paraphrased as saying, "You can let Maria know there will be no fact-checking today. She can do what she wants. Go wild. Let this dog off the leash."
All that stuff aside, though, it is time now to focus on one of the funnier theories regarding Tucker's departure, and it has to do with Rupert Murdoch himself and his now ex-fiancée, and her view of Tucker as the potential second coming of Jesus Christ himself. Going back to reporting from the Wall Street Journal, they indicate that Mr. Carlson's fall from grace in the eyes of the Murdochs was swift. Just a few weeks ago, Rupert Murdoch invited Mr. Carlson to his Bel Air, California home to dine with his then fiancée, Anne Leslie Smith, according to people familiar with the gathering. And you may or may not be aware, because honestly, who gives a shit, but Rupert Murdoch abruptly called off his engagement to this woman very recently. And if some of the claims are correct, Tucker and Murdoch's ex might have been torched for the same reason. Here's Vanity Fair.
According to this source, Fox Corp chair Rupert Murdoch removed Carlson over remarks Carlson made during a speech at the Heritage Foundation's 50th anniversary gala on Friday night. Carlson laced his speech with religious overtones that even Murdoch found too extreme, the source, who was briefed on Murdoch's decision-making, said. Carlson told the Heritage audience that national politics has become a Manichean battle between good and evil. Carlson said that people advocating for transgender rights and DEI programs want to destroy America, and they could not be persuaded with facts. We should say that and stop engaging in these totally fraudulent debates. I've tried. That doesn't work, he said. The answer, Carlson suggested, was prayer. I have concluded it might be worth taking just 10 minutes out of your busy schedule to say a prayer for the future, and I hope you will, he said. That stuff freaks Rupert out. He doesn't like all the spiritual talk, the source said.
Here's where it gets crazy.
Tucker Carlson does not pray. He is not a religious man.
Well, he went to like Trinity College or whatever.
No, there's no fucking way. No.
Yeah, he definitely does come across as a person who uses religion to get whatever he wants.
Yeah,
but
no, he likes religion in like the way fascists like religion.
Yeah,
but it's
because
like,
it's controlling.
But yeah, it's not. He doesn't have a fucking personal relationship with the Lord.
It gives him
Christ.
power to control people because they have a religious obligation to trust him and follow what he says if he is, preaching the gospel or whatever. So yes, you're correct.
Jesus famously said, hate thy neighbor.
Yes, it's one of his famous quotes. But here's where it gets crazier though. And again, this is just speculation, but here you go. Rupert Murdoch was perhaps unnerved by Carlson's messianism because it echoed the end times worldview of Murdoch's ex-fiancée, Anne Leslie Smith, the source said. In his May cover story, the journalist reported that Murdoch and Smith called off their 2-week engagement because Smith had told people Carlson was a, quote, messenger from God. Murdoch had seen Carlson and Smith discuss religion firsthand. In late March, Carlson had dinner at Murdoch's Bel Air Vineyard with Murdoch and Smith, according to the source. During dinner, Smith pulled out a Bible and started reading passages from the Book of Exodus, the source said. Quote, Rupert just sat there and stared. A few days after the dinner, Murdoch and Smith called off the wedding. By taking Carlson off the air, Murdoch was also taking away his ex's favorite show.
I mean, that is just the kind of petty that you'd expect from the real life Logan Roy.
Especially, someone who, just like that, is sundowning and is willing to make just brash decisions at the spur of the moment. So yeah, I want to believe. I really want to believe that Rupert Murdoch personally ordered Tucker's firing because he realized his fiancée was a crazy-ass religious person who saw Tucker Carlson as a messenger from God himself, sent to save this dumbass country or kick off a holy war.
Like, bitch, we're trying to make money over here. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, can you just sit there and look pretty? I'm not saying that that's what you should say, but that's what Rupert Murdoch clearly wants out of his girlfriends.
I wonder if she was going to get married to him because, like, you know, the apocalypse is coming any second now, so.
Yeah, she has to like it. Yeah. Well, we mentioned it, you know, when we talked about this originally, I don't know, a month ago or so, but clearly a problematic age gap considering Rupert Murdoch is 90 something and she is only 66 years young.
Wow.
Yeah.
Robbing the cradle.
From the cradle to the grave.
Yeah.
Anyways, we joked about the fact that chuds would start claiming that Fox News is woke now, and that's actually happened.
They've gone woke.
It's not just Twitter blue check saying it either. Newsmax had a chyron on screen during their recent coverage that explicitly stated, Fox News is run by libs.
I mean, it is, but not the definition of lib that you have. Mm-hmm. But yes, you're correct. Yeah. Correct. Good take, Comrade.
Yeah, there we go. Let them fight. Enjoy.
Anyway, that's the last we talk about Tucker for a little while,
yeah.
Hopefully. And since we're getting things out of the way, let's check in on Ron DeSantis. Let's see how that guy's doing. What's he up to these days?
Governor, polls show you falling behind Trump. Any thoughts on that?
Guys,
I'm not a candidate, so we'll see if and when that changes.
Wow, a new fucking soy jack just dropped. Like, what the fuck is that? What is he doing?
Yeah, just he was like, you know when Trump gets all amped up and it's definitely not prescription drugs? I've already got the hand movements down. What if I started acting like that too?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't like that. So yeah, it's also strange that he's flying all over the world instead of governing the state that he is a governor of, especially since he still has yet to actually announce any presidential run. He's visiting Japan, Korea, the UK, and Israel in order to raise his diplomatic profile and also for some kind of trade talks. What?
Yeah.
He doesn't really have any reason to be doing either of those things because he refuses to announce his intentions to run for president. He's a governor of a state. He can't.
Also,
oh my God.
right before he filmed this, he had like a freak out angry moment at the Museum of Tolerance in Israel.
Because someone asked him about the time that he worked at Guantanamo Bay and participated allegedly in torture, which almost certainly is true.
He got big mad, literally standing in front of a logo for the Museum of Tolerance in Israel.
He's washed.
Yeah, he's done.
But yeah, he's sinking in the polls. It's really looking like his campaign, it would probably be completely pointless.
At least in 2024.
Yeah, he's a young man. You got plenty of time, Ron. You got plenty of time to practice being normal. But like we said, he certainly has more important things to worry about back home in Florida, where he is now being sued by Mickey Mouse.
You're sued. I'm taking you to court, bitch. That's right, folks. It has come to this. Disney has stopped playing around and decided to file a lawsuit against Governor Ron DeSantis and claiming that DeSantis has weaponized government power. Here's CNBC with more on this. The federal lawsuit alleges that DeSantis orchestrated at every step a campaign to punish Disney that now threatens the company's business. The move dramatically escalates the drawn-out feud between DeSantis and Disney, which is among Florida's largest employers. The lawsuit was filed on the same day that the district's Board of Supervisors, which DeSantis had picked to take control over Disney's Orlando area parks, moved to undo a development deal that it says Disney struck to thwart its power. They made fools of us, and we won't stand for it.
No, we won't.
The panel unanimously voted to declare void and unenforceable that development deal, which was approved shortly before DeSantis replaced the Disney-approved board with his preferred supervisors. What does Goofy have to say about all this?
We're going to sue him. He's going down.
I'm going to beat his ass.
We've got the best lawyers in all the world.
I can't do Donald Duck right.
Hey, have you ever noticed that the state of Texas looks a lot like my head?
I'm taking over Florida, Texas, every goddamn state. He's right back there, folks. He's already done it.
Yeah.
The United States of Goofy.
Hyper-goofification. So this lawsuit has called that action the latest strike, saying that the development contracts laid the foundation for billions of Disney's investment dollars and thousands of jobs. The company noted its plans to invest $17 billion in Walt Disney World over the next decade, yielding an estimated 13,000 new jobs on top of its more than 75,000 current cast members. Although, based on this week's news, probably a few less than that.
Yeah.
They're firing people like crazy over there.
Now, Nate Silver's gone. Another.
Did he work for Disney?
Well, ABC, 538 or whatever. Yeah, it's all. They own everything.
R.I.P. Bozo. The government action was patently retaliatory, patently anti-business, and patently unconstitutional, Disney alleged in the civil complaint in U.S. District Court in Tallahassee, Florida. In the wake of the filing, notable Republicans have come out to ever so slightly nudge DeSantis to back off Mickey Mouse.
A thinly veiled nudge.
Ron. Florida Senator Marco Rubio said the following during an interview on Fox News. I think where it gets problematic in the eyes of some people is when you start creating the idea, and I'm not saying we're there yet as a state, but the idea that somehow, like if you run crossways with us politically, whoever's in charge, then, you may wind up in the crosshairs of the legislature for political purposes to make a statement at you. And that I do worry that if this happens too many times, businesses that are thinking about coming to Florida are saying, maybe we don't want to go there, because if we get into a firestorm with them politically, they're going to come after our business. And he's, you hate to see it. Marco Rubio, little Marco,
Yeah.
in his big chair, he's right.
Yeah. They're going to let him ride one of those rides that he's too short for now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Little Marco.
Before this, he could only ride the teacups, folks. Now he's on Space Mountain, and he is cheering. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy said pretty much the same thing during an appearance on CNBC. This is a big employer inside Florida. I think the governor should sit down with them. I don't think the idea of building a prison next to a place that you bring your family is the best idea. I think it'd be much better if you sat down and solved the problems. So yeah, it seems like this stupid Disney feud is going to continue blowing up in DeSantis' face. And that's alongside his already dwindling and pathetic poll numbers. I mean, this is incredible. Just 2 months ago, I was convinced that Trump was washed and that he was in a bad place politically and that DeSantis had all the weight of Florida and therefore the world behind him.
I was never fooled. I was never taken in by this bullshit. I knew that Trump was going to mop the floor with this pretender.
I was going to call my dad this week to ask because now Tucker's off the air and I don't want to waste too much time for my dad to inadvertently become deprogrammed. I want to get the hot takes now.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe I'm interested to see what he's switched to as well. So
Yeah,
I'll have to do some research behind the
I
scenes.
started watching this show, Steven Crowder, Louder with Crowder. It's pretty
He's
weird.
got gigantic pectoral muscles.
Yeah, he's fucking ripped.
Yeah.
He's got a great looking sternum.
And no other issues. I haven't looked any further into this.
Just a perfect sternum on his chest. I wonder how he achieved that.
Yeah.
Wonder what he gave up to achieve that sternum.
Anyways, it's great seeing Ron DeSantis, among many other things, get dunked on by Disney and this fucking guy.
I'm gonna do it.
Anyway, before we get to the rest of the news from this week, let's take a quick second to thank today's sponsor, Factor.
Yeah.
This spring, you need nutritious, convenient meals to energize you for warmer, active days and keep you on track reaching your goals. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, can help you fuel up fast with ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and tackle everything on your to-do list. Too busy to cook this spring? With Factor, skip the trip to the grocery store and skip the chopping, prepping, and cleaning up too. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes, so all you have to do is heat and enjoy, and then get back outside and soak up the warmer weather.
Factor offers delicious, flavor-packed options on the menu each week to fit a variety of lifestyles. From keto to calorie smart, vegan and veggie, and protein plus. Prepared by chefs and approved by dietitians, each meal has all the ingredients you need to feel satisfied all day long while meeting your goals. With 34 plus chef-prepared, dietitian-approved weekly options, there's always something new to try. Plus, you can round out your meal and replenish your snack supply with an assortment of 45 plus add-ons, including breakfast items like egg bites, smoothies, and more. My favorite meal that I had from this week's menu was, of course, their shredded chicken taco bowl with delicious roasted corn salsa and cilantro lime sour cream.
That's a good one, but don't microwave the sour cream. You got to take that.
You got to take that part out, yes. But also, I customize it. I put a hefty dose of my favorite personal hot sauce on top.
Wow. Wow, look at Sean Evans over here.
You could be eating delicious meals ready in 2 minutes, just like me, by heading to factormeals.com/newsdump50 and using our code newsdump50 to get 50% off your first box. That is code newsdump50 at factormeals.com/newsdump50 or link below in the description to get 50% off your first box. Thanks for supporting our sponsors.
Back to the news now, though, and when you think about the word Pinkerton, well, if you're our age, you probably just think of Weezer's best album,
Yeah.
by far.
Yeah.
And if you disagree, you're wrong. But everyone else probably thinks about the characters from Red Dead Redemption, which are actually not characters. They're based off of a real detective agency that was established in the late 1800s. The Pinkertons were, I guess, the nice way to put it would be they were armed guards.
Yes. A protective service.
Yeah,
but,
just private security.
in the olden days where actually they were the police. So
Yeah.
we have committed no crimes.
But yeah, at one point they were the biggest private law enforcement agency in the world, and they were the ones that you would call if you needed some outlaws, maybe captured or killed, and you didn't want to bring the government into it. You wanted to handle this internally.
A lot of places didn't have any kind of actual police force.
Right.
So they were like, okay, handle this.
Sure, but this was often not exactly crimes.
After a certain point in time, they were just union busters.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were doing literal Old West wanted poster type shit. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, the Pinkertons they did what we call in the business community a bit of a pivot.
Yeah.
From armed security to just straight up union busting. They were involved in causing chaos and mayhem at multiple picket lines, including a strike that turned violent, leading to the deaths of 3 Pinkerton agents and 9 steelworkers. And surprisingly, and I'm always surprised when this comes up because, they still exist. The business just kept on going. It's incredibly hard to shake the name.
The name is so, you would have thought that they would have changed it
Yeah, you
by
would
now.
think, 'cause,
it's been acquired and sold a couple
like-
times too, but they're like, no, that Pinkerton name is strong.
Blackwater has changed their name 5 times in the last 15
Yeah, because it has a
years.
negative
'Cause it's
connotation.
a toxic
Just-
brand.
yeah.
But not for the Pinkertons, no. We want people to know what they're signing up for.
Uh-huh. How could it be? How could it be harmful? It's a wonderful album by the band Weezer.
Yeah. It's weird that they use that name for that reason, and also it kind of just sounds like someone with a big mustache and a 6-shooter coming to rustle some feathers. It's odd.
Yeah.
But yeah, these days they just do boring corporate stuff. Hired bodyguards, private investigations, threat intelligence, and so on. But they've kept the spirit.
Yeah.
They've kept some of that Old West spirit with them.
Yeah, hiring spies to infiltrate union organization.
Yeah, they are, and this is true of. There's a couple of these global security companies that are essentially private CIAs in their own way, and it's unsettling to think about.
There was when I was reading into more of the history on this, it was funny because nowadays this would be seen, as a woke company because Pinkerton was one of the first companies to employ women and minorities.
Woke.
And that was because no one expected them to do that.
Yeah.
So why would these people be spies trying to bust our
That
union?
is very clever.
The original woke company, though.
Yeah. They went woke and they did not go broke.
No,
they've been in
around
business for 150 years.
Very strong. Like we said, though, when you hear the Pinkertons are involved in something, you can't help but hear, yeah!
Have I been hit in the head and transported back to the Wild West? What are you talking about?
Someone
the
takes a
Pinkertons?
photo and dust goes off,
Yeah.
and it was very odd to hear that Wizards of the Coast, the makers of Magic the Gathering, had hired the Pinkertons to track down a YouTuber, bring him to justice, and confiscate some early access cards that he had apparently allegedly inadvertently come into possession of.
Did he like steal them off of a train?
Yes, it was a stagecoach robbery. Give me all the cards and nobody gets hurt.
Hey, we don't want no trouble. Take the cards.
But yeah, that is exactly what happened.
Not the train part, though.
No, but Pinkertons did show up at someone's house. Here's Kotaku with more on all this. Sometimes you accidentally buy something before it hits the street date, and you get bragging rights with all your friends. In the case of one Magic the Gathering streamer, obtaining a box of cards early landed him in hot water with one of the most infamous private security companies in the world. A YouTuber known as Dan Old School MTG Cannon claimed that he was shooting videos on Saturday morning when Pinkerton agents arrived at his private residence. His dog started barking at something, and his wife answered the door. Pinkerton agents came knocking on the door to recover the stolen product from Wizards of the Coast, which was the March of the Machine aftermath stuff, he said in a video about the raid.
The reporting continues. Kotaku reached out to Canon and Wizards of the Coast. A spokesperson for WOTC confirmed over email that the private detectives had been sent as part of their investigation. Canon told Kotaku over email that they had threatened to get the county sheriff involved if he did not return the MTG card.
Another throwback. Why, we're gonna go get the sheriff!
We're gonna hang a long rope.
Yeah.
They cited statutes with punishments such as a $200,000 fine and up to a decade of jail time. Cannon seemed to be cooperative with Wizards of the Coast. He asked reposters to take down any clips or screenshots of his Aftermath pack opening video, which he'd removed from the account at the company's request. They apologized for going through the drastic means of sending Pinkertons to my front door, he said.
Yeah, we're sorry about that, but it was pretty serious.
But again, like, he didn't steal anything. They just sent this shit to him on accident.
No, he bought it from a store.
Oh.
The store broke street date.
Oh.
Now, here's where, who knows? I mean, I'll say, first of all, it is nuts that they sent Pinkertons to this guy's house. But just taking this at face value, his name on YouTube is Old School MTG. He obviously gets stuff from a local card shop. The likelihood that he had no idea what he was opening for people on stream and what the street date was, that is pretty low. Maybe the card shop screwed up, but he almost certainly knew what he had in his possession. I know that the names are incredibly similar. The new one is called Aftermath, and whatever the name was beforehand was just that. But you would think someone whose entire channel is dedicated to this stuff would know the difference.
Okay, so you're saying the Pinkertons were right.
yeah, I'm not agreeing with them, but I think that he knows more than he's leading on to. But also, that the time has passed. This was a decade ago, but in the gaming industry here in LA, everybody knew which 3 or 4 shops would break street date for video game releases.
Oh yeah, there was when GTA 5 came out, like so many people had it like 48 hours before it was released. Yeah, there was that one game shop. They might still be in business. Still be open, right?
I don't know, maybe. Well. There was 2 specifically that I remember going to.
Yeah.
But that's different though because, well, it's not different, it's the same, but at least back then they sometimes wouldn't turn the servers on until,
right,
so you could play single
actually,
player, up until that point. But this is something that's kind of known in gaming circles, especially when it's your local shop, so.
You don't go make a fucking YouTube video at it, come on, man.
Yeah, anyway, still wild.
The Pinkertons are right, I'm with the Pinkertons on this. They should have beat his ass.
We know you're lying, we're the fucking Pinkertons.
Yeah.
Still, it is wild that he basically had a wanted poster with his name on it over some fucking Magic the Gathering cards.
Yeah.
Just a crazy story.
So they had this, before they showed up this time, they showed up like another day when he wasn't home and like interviewed like everyone of his neighbors. And they were all like, did he like kill somebody? Like, I think,
what's going on?
They're like, this seems very serious. Like, is he in trouble? Like, yes, ma'am, he is in trouble.
Would you think that having a card that dominates other cards by breathing fire on them is...
I don't know what you mean. It sounds pretty bad, yeah. I hope you catch him.
Yeah. Well, it seems like he's going to get some free product out of it and got lots of notoriety, and the Pinkertons got paid, and Wizards of the Coast got free, probably not the best marketing, but free marketing.
Yeah, I feel like I don't play Magic.
I would not anymore now that Snap's out.
It would ruin my life. I don't even play Snap anymore. I kind of hit a wall with the card progression where like they just kept giving me crap that I didn't need.
I haven't really changed my deck in weeks.
Yeah.
I just keep going for like the daily challenges.
Yeah, I haven't played it in a while.
It's nice when I have a little moment and literally nothing to do and my brain's like, well, don't sit in silence. The demons will start talking.
Yeah. Anyway, now for a quick update on Bam Margera.
Yeah.
And before you say anything, yes, it's very, very sad that Ryan Dunn died. But this dude has been given every chance over the last decade plus to get his shit together, and it's incredibly sad that he continues just down the darkest path possible after being given so many opportunities
By everyone
in his life.
Including millions of dollars, apparently, from Paramount to just go to a rehab facility and then stay clean.
So Bam has a son to take care of and friends who have tried desperately to help him, including Steve-O, who...
sober for 13, 14 years
and
now?
had a pretty wild go at it before hitting rock bottom. Would be, if I had anyone, Steve-O would be the best recovery sponsor I think anyone in the world could fucking ask for.
Yeah.
And
he's proof that it works.
Here he is, coming to you for free
and
to help you out of this.
Not only that, bringing you on his comedy tour, and this was recent, and he did get clean fairly briefly, but yeah, and then to disappoint Steve-O.
I would feel so disappointed in myself if I disappointed Steve-O.
Yeah.
But so he was on the comedy tour, but relapsed once again. It sucks. You always want someone to get better. But,
addiction is extremely tough.
But he doesn't seem to want it badly enough for himself. So all the rehab centers and interventions in the world seem to only put his destructive actions on pause temporarily. Anyways, earlier this week it was announced that Bam has a warrant out for his arrest for assaulting his brother, who is the drummer for the band CKY.
Yeah.
Anyway, the rumor at the time was that he was hiding out in the woods or something. But on Thursday this week, Bam turned himself over to authorities. Here's local outlet NBC 10.
Days after Pennsylvania State Police announced an arrest warrant for Brandon Bam Margera, the reality TV star surrendered to face charges that he assaulted his brother in their Chester County home. An NBC 10 photojournalist captured Margera arriving Thursday morning at a district court to face arraignment on assault and terroristic threat charges. A judge arraigned the reality star, and he was then released on signature bond after bail was set at $50,000, according to court records. Margera faces a preliminary hearing in May.
So yeah, Margera's attorney Michael Van Der Veen spoke Thursday morning as he left court with the reality star after Margera pleaded not guilty. My client is presumed innocent, Van Der Veen said. The rumors that have been passed around by his brother through this last week have been nothing short of defamation, and that will be handled in another courthouse. Margera's brother, Jesse Margera, told police that Bam Margera had pounded on and kicked his locked bedroom door that morning and punched him in the eye, nose, and ear during a later confrontation in the kitchen, according to court documents. Among the accusations laid out in the complaint was that Bam Margera urinated in the kitchen sink. Jesse Margera said he'd also found a threatening handwritten note signed Bam, a police affidavit said. None of this is shocking. The idea that this is a defamatory plot against Bam is one hell of a defense. But I don't think anyone believes that shit.
No.
Because he did the same thing to Jeff Tremaine and a bunch of his former Jackass guys, wrote them really scary letters to the point
Death
where
threats?
they took out restraining orders against him.
Yeah, not only that, none of this is shocking because he's been doing this to his family
it was
members
part of his shtick.
for 20 years.
He's the guy that beat up his dad.
But he has, like we said, made violent threats to others in his life more recently, including Jeff Tremaine, director of Jackass, who had to get a restraining order against Bam during their most recent falling out, quote unquote. Also, I feel bad for Jesse Margera. Great drummer. When I was very, very young, I caught his drumstick at a CKY show.
Oh, wow.
So I hope he's doing okay.
I wonder if that was the flap of the butterfly wings that started this whole mess.
It could have been.
You shouldn't have caught that.
Yeah. Bam got very jealous. Those are my sticks. I paid for those.
Yeah.
I'm the reason this band is big.
He was a normal guy until you caught that drumstick.
Yeah. Well, look where we're at now.
Yeah. You did this. Anyway, what time is it? It's movie news time.
Yeah. Sound the movie alarm.
We love movies around here, don't we, folks?
Uh-huh.
Movies.
This is, yeah.
Hey.
This is actually a series, I guess, but whatever.
So you remember how that Winnie the Pooh horror movie is one of the most profitable movies of the year so far, despite being a low-budget, low-effort film that only really got popular because of the relation to the children's book character. And the fact that the copyright was up. And
Yeah,
they
that's
just sort of
why.
jumped on it. So yeah, that was the reason they were even able to make the film and get away with using the characters. The copyright protections had expired. The whole thing's now part of the public domain. Not the whole thing, though. There's the very specific Disney rendition of Winnie the Pooh is still under copyright. You can't put him in a red T-shirt.
Yeah, he can't look exactly like that Winnie the Pooh.
And I think it might be Tigger. That's like 100% a Disney creation. One of the characters is.
It's got to be.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Either way, there's already another 100 Acre Woods spinoff coming down the production pipeline. And this one's going to be a hard R series about Christopher Robin, and not hard R in the slur way, talking hard R in the ratings way.
Yeah.
Could be a bit confusing when people drop those hard R's. Here's Deadline with the info on what could either be just okay or a pointless waste of time.
Boat Rocker and Shamir Anderson and Stephen James's Bay Mills Studios are developing Christopher Robin, an R-rated comedic reimagining of A.A. Milne's beloved characters, Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh, as a television series. The project is based on an original script from Charlie Kesslering, most likely to and Turned On, who will also executive produce. Conrad Vernon, Shrek 2 and Sausage Party, is on board to direct the pilot episode and executive produce. Per the logline, Christopher Robin is a disillusioned New Yorker navigating his quarter-life crisis with the help of the weird talking animals who live beyond a drug-induced portal outside his derelict apartment complex, the 100 Acres. So that all sounds terrible. Forget we even talked about it. I was thinking when you were doing the whole hard R thing, though, that it was really funny because Trump did the whole N-word thing this week.
The N-word. I call it the N-word.
There's everybody. They say you can't say the N-word. Well, I'm gonna say it.
Nuclear.
There's 2 N-words, and
He knows exactly what he's doing.
yeah,
He's a pro.
it's odd that he brings it up again.
But over in YouTube news now, we're not sure if anyone uses YouTube Music. That's the standalone app that's apparently a competitor to Apple Music and Spotify. Apparently a lot of people do, though.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it, just haven't really used it ourselves. I mean, you get it for free by getting YouTube Premium, and I'm just like, oh, all my shit's on Spotify.
I've never used it. I downloaded it because this news story, and apparently the iPhone app isn't updated yet, so I couldn't even try out what's coming.
well.
But
That's why you got to get one of these.
no, I'm fully switched.
Okay.
I'll get you there too.
Well, yeah, whether you love it or don't, YouTube Music has started to roll out podcast availability to the app, so now you can listen to your favorite podcasts without switching apps. So if you wanted to listen to the audio version of this show, good news. So we already started filing every episode on this channel as a podcast on YouTube's back end. We kind of just had to write podcast in the tags for like a month straight, and then they finally
now
were
they
like-
have an option,
They're like,
yeah.
yeah, it's a podcast, we know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
whenever this gets fully rolled out, you should be able to listen to this show as a podcast if you're too lazy to pull up the video. Maybe this will help views and discoverability too. Probably not.
Yeah,
We don't know, but we'll take it either way.
It seems like it'll be a very crowded market, but you know, we were very proactive about tagging that
Yeah.
when they first started rolling it out. So maybe there'll be some kind of a boost with that, but it never works out the way you want it to.
No.
So also a great reminder, as always, that this show does exist as an audio-only podcast on whatever podcast app you want to find it on. You just, for everything except for Weekly Weird News, you type in Internet Today and it'll pop up. And for Weekly Weird News, well, you just type in Weekly Weird News and it pops up. You can listen on Spotify, the Apple Podcasts app, whatever other...
Deezer.
Yeah, probably. I have no idea where it is. It's probably on like 1,000 different apps.
Tidal.
Probably not Tidal. Or they owe us a lot of money. We're going to have to check that California money bank where all that money goes and just it doesn't get mailed to you.
Jay-Z.
Where's my money, Jay-Z? I think he's divested from that by now.
I heard Tidal's like actually pretty great at this point.
Yeah, it's fine if you want to listen to like ultra high quality stuff. The only
Yeah.
problem is like, and here goes my Apple boy again. I get Apple Music with my Apple subscription, so it also has lossless files. So it's the same thing, and it's included in what I already pay for. So I have been using it instead of Spotify because although the cut is nowhere near what it should be for artists, it's still like 10 times higher than
Yeah.
Spotify's cut.
I gotta get off Spotify, but I have like 50,000 songs saved on there. It's like, and there's no easy way. You gotta pay someone like $10 to download some sketchy fucking like
$10.
extension that's gonna take. It takes like 24 hours because it's basically just running a script and manually copying like a shitload of metadata. I need
still
to
have,
go ahead and do it.
I just canceled my premium on Spotify. It still exists, so I can see my old playlists and shit if I really wanted to find something, which I did do recently. I was looking for a Phil Collins song specifically. But Apple Music, love it. It's great.
Okay, well,
But I also heard title's good, and there's another one called terrible branding. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Qbuzz?
Cubase?
Q
Qdoba?
Q something. And
QAnon?
No, it's not that. But they also do the lossless thing, and they also have like music journalists who write
that's cool.
extensive things about it and do human curation on.
I like that.
things.
Yeah, Spotify's bringing too many robots in the mix.
They
Not
sure
a
are.
fan. Get that shit out of here.
Anyways, we're done rambling. Please, if you haven't already, first like the video. Make that confetti shoot everywhere.
Come on, like it.
Even I died the same problem. I watched our video from yesterday, and at the end, I forgot to like it, and I heard myself tell me to do it.
Sometimes it be your own self.
That's true. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We're so close to 50,000 views. Should I tell them about the goal? 250,000 views. I'm getting Sideshow. Sorry, 250,000 subscribers. I'm getting Sideshow Bob getting smacked in the face as a tattoo.
Oh. Yeah.
So make it happen.
Pretty good. On your face?
Not on my face.
Oh.
I'll let the viewers decide where. And actually, no.
Face.
Subscribe. Let's get to 250,000 views so I can get a Dumb Simpsons tattoo. Watch our other videos. They're up here now. We got plenty for you to do. We'll be back with Weekly Weird News. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.